Joining us now to discuss, Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois. Senator Duckworth, thanks so much for joining us. Are you concerned that President-elect Biden has not yet met with leaders of the NAACP?
Well, I think he's in direct contact with many of them, but I'm glad that, they're reaching out to him, and I'm sure he'll sit down with them soon.
After all the talk in the last year or so of the need for social justice, the need for criminal justice reform, do you think President-elect Biden should pick an attorney general who is black or of color?
Well, I think that whoever he picked will be someone who will support criminal justice reform. I think somebody black or a person of color or even somebody with a disability would be fantastic to have in that role. And I certainly would support that initiative. But I will tell you that Joe Biden himself supports criminal justice reform, and that whoever is in that position will follow his direction to make sure that we get rid of the systemic racism that exists in our criminal justice system.
But as a general principle, you would agree, and as somebody of color yourself, that it's not yet fulfilled the promises that President-elect Biden made when it came to having an administration that looks like the rest of America. So there have been some notable appointments on his economic team, et cetera, but there still needs to be more representation of people of color, you would agree.
Well, yeah, I think he's well on his way, and I think that by the time it's all said and done, that you will see a greater representation by people of color in his cabinet and his administration than in any other previous presidency. And I think that he's on his way to that, and let him finish doing the job of the transition.
In an interview released today on Snapchat, President Obama critiqued fellow Democrats on defunding the police. Take a listen.
Promoting young people is really important. We stick so long with the same old folks and don't make room for new voices.
I'm sorry, that's a different clip than I thought we were throwing to, but this is about new blood. And do you think President Obama's right on the need for new blood in the Democratic Party?
Well, I think that we have a lot of new blood in the Democratic Party, and I think that we do need to continue to promote different voices so that everybody has a seat at the table, especially in leadership positions. And you're seeing the new blood make their voices heard. Now, that said, I do think that we need to get to work right away, and I'm very pleased with the selections that President-elect Biden have made so far in terms of his nominations.
President Trump issued a threat to veto the defense policy bill unless it ends the liability protections for social media companies. What do you think of that? Do you think it's appropriate? Do you think it's dangerous for the president to threaten to veto this bill because of what he perceives to be unfairness by social media companies?
Well, what does that have to do with the Department of Defense? What does that have to do with pay raises for the troops? What does that have to do with making sure that our men and women in uniform have the equipment that they need to carry out the very dangerous jobs that we ask them to do for us, especially those who are in Afghanistan and Iraq and around the world right now? This president continues to threatened to veto troops' pay raise. First, it was over Confederate monuments and bases named after Confederates, and now he's doing it over social media platforms. If he truly cared about the troops, he would sign the NDAA, this defense budget that, by the way, passed by a great margin in a bipartisan way out of the House and the Senate.
CNN's reporting that since the election, President Trump has been meeting with advisors and discussing preemptive pardons for people in his inner circle, including Eric and Don Jr. and Ivanka Trump, Jared Kushner, Rudy Giuliani. What do you make of all that?
I think it's corrupt. I think it's corrupt, and I question whether it's constitutional. But it is very much in keeping with Donald Trump. He puts himself first in front of everybody else, in front of this great nation, and now he's talking about all of his cronies, and he's a pay-to-play president, and he's going to be a pay-to-play president all the way until the end, it seems.
Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.